big inning, there was baseball. This is CJ. How you doing, Evan?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. Let's just jump right into it.
Let's just jump right into it. You know,
thing.
you can tell everybody the name of our show. That would be cool, too.
27 down, perfect podcast for the perfect game. I like to do that at the end. I don't need to do that now. You could have done that. I told you this is your episode, so you're running it, and you just look stupid by not running it right now.
Evan's salty because he doesn't remember what to do at the beginning of the episode, everybody. It's okay. Hey, I want to do something fun. You know, I ended the last episode. Well, I didn't end last episode. The Macho Man Randy Savage ended the last episode. And he came in here and he said, hey, he wants to hear your unpopular opinions. So I took to Twitter. I took to the twits, and I felt like, you know, it was necessary because I was really hard on Twitter. I was really hard on Twitter my last time out.
You were.
So, you know, I decided to extend the olive branch, and I decided to say, let's come up with some unpopular opinions. Let's all laugh at our unpopular opinions. So I've got it right here. I'm going to read every single one of them that I got. And we're going to talk about them.
Let's do it.
Well, maybe we'll agree. So let's see. Here is the first one. This is a tweet by a person whose Twitter handle is not appearing. Oh, I got it. Okay. This is from On Lucero 1931. He just said shorter innings. That's it. That's all I said. Shorter innings. Yeah. It's not really an opinion. You just said two words and combined them together. So, you know, not quite sure what we can say about that. Anything to add?
Not sure how it's possible or why we would even.
Yeah, you know, I'm guessing that he's saying that.
Yeah, no, I get it. I just
shorter.
Okay.
Yeah. And I too want $1 million in a pony.
I also wanted Steve Traxel's career to be shorter, but I didn't get that, so I'm moving on.
Steve Traxel increased the average inning length by 15 hours.
We've talked about that, and I don't like Steve Traxel. He annoys me.
All right, well, here's another one. This is at Paul T. McMillan. Robbie Cano will rebound. He won't be the great batter he once was, but he's not done yet. I already know your opinion on this matter.
He was done the second that stupid trade was made, okay? It was ridiculous. And then they tried to move Diaz, which they didn't do, which I think is actually smart. I'm not going to give up on Diaz, but Cano, no, I'm done with Cano.
Cano was doing pretty well until he went on the injured list.
I don't care.
No, he was doing pretty well.
Okay.
He was well on his way to rebounding. Not to what he used to be.
I mean, we've seen Chris Davis have success in this league. So
yeah, well, that's when he was good and he was allowed to take Ritalin.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Next one, C. Dixon 25. The Yankees are winning the World Series this year. Write it down. Well, I guess technically that is an unpopular opinion. I would say most of the MLB fan base would not say that.
Yeah, it's not a bad one though.
Yeah.
He's my buddy. Good take.
Of course you would say that. Okay. JJ Bear 07. I like J-Hap and confident he will rebound before October. Please forget how well he pitched last season. You're wrong. J-Hap sucks. He sucks. I don't care what he did last season. I'm sure there was a point in Vernon Wells' career you could be like, well, look what he did last season.
I think people like to cherry pick the fact that he was 7-0 for us. That doesn't really mean that much, guys. We've talked about wins and losses. Obviously, last year we had an explosive offense, and you know whatever's happening this year with him is his pitches are, you know, they're not hitting the zone. We've seen him throw some horrible pitches that get elevated right over the middle of the plate, and that's why he's giving up a lot of home runs.
Yeah, I mean. He stinks. Yeah. I don't care what he did last season. What an irrelevant thing to say.
Yeah, you can't, especially with someone at the age of 37. I'm not going to look into what they did last year. When he signed that contract this year, I was very nervous about it. I didn't want to do the Corbin contract because I thought the numbers were ridiculous. He's proven to having a pretty good season this year, so it's frustrating that we don't have him. And that we gave a 37-year-old a 3-year contract because if he's
not finishing that contract.
No, he's not. And I said he wasn't going to when they gave it to him. I think they're going to try to trade him. But if he's this dreadful, they're not going to have an opportunity to.
Right. Yeah. All right. This one. Oh, boy. At Phobic Carrot. Torres should be batting 9. How dare you? I actually responded to this one. All I said was gasp. And then he says, go look at his splits.
I do like the carrot too, but I would disagree with this one. Yeah, I would put Torres probably like 6.
Look, maybe if you want to say, look, all right, he bats 9th, so that basically puts him in front of the leadoff guy. So in terms of like the cyclical lineup, it doesn't really matter. He's playing ahead of all of the good guys. Here's the problem: you put Torres 9th Now he's not going to get as many at-bats as the guys who bat first, second, third.
Right.
So
Which is why you put a guy like Kyle Higashioka in the ninth spot. It makes more sense.
Right, yeah. You don't want him to be the one getting the big load of at-bats. You want a guy like Aaron Judge to be batting first or second because...
I like DJ up high, too. I really like DJ in the 2 spot or the 1 spot.
Remember when it used to be like you would put the fastest guy first, then you would put like a good
changed
contact
so
hitter
much.
second, and then, all of that stuff doesn't matter. You don't put the fast guy first because what's the point? Why are you going to put a fast guy in the leadoff spot if the guys after him are hitting doubles and home runs? You don't need the fast guy there. Yeah. So a lot of lineup construction has changed recently. So teams tend to put their best hitters.
And that was actually how we used to play when I went to high school. I remember I was a really good bunter and a contact hitter with no power, so I would usually bat second or deep down in the order, like a 7th, 8th type of thing.
Yeah, correct. Boy, I didn't like that one at all. Let's keep going. Njirade. Paxton is a top 10 to 15 starting pitcher in MLB. Goodness.
I wouldn't go that far yet.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far
I
yet.
think he has potential to possibly get there. I like his stuff sometimes. He had a good game yesterday.
He just had a very good game. Yeah, that's
I wish
good
he
starts.
had finished the 7th. That would have been awesome. It would have been his longest start since he went 8 innings against Boston earlier in the season. But
if you had said this last year, hard buy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, probably.
He was there last year.
Yeah.
Top 10 to 15. I would say top 10 last year.
After his no-hitter or whatnot, I think,
absolutely.
His stuff is good. It's really good. He's just having more issues, like I said, elevating his breaking stuff.
Right.
All
right, a couple more here. Why Dynasty 27? Bullpen breaks down due to lack of length from starting pitching. That's not an unpopular opinion. That's not even a hot take. Doy. If your starters aren't giving you length, then your bullpen's going to break down. I think there's 3 There's 3 relievers on the Yankees right now. Ottavino, Canely, Britton, that are all on pace for 70 appearances this season.
It's a lot.
Obviously that's going to break down, and you can't sustain that.
Also, our current trip right now doesn't end until August 19th.
It's long.
It's really long, and we have a doubleheader against Baltimore. And I know we're only playing like Baltimore and Toronto, but we have something like 10 games in the next 11 days or something.
It's pretty wild.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but this tends to happen, right?
Yeah.
Every team has that one stretch where it's like, oh my God, 3 weeks have gone by. Can we have a day off?
I think it's noticeable though now with all these injuries this year. It's been insane. We name another season where we've had this many injuries. Maybe 2013 was pretty bad.
I was going to say 2008, but I don't even think it's 2000.
I don't think it was even that bad. This is numbers like at 24 or something.
All right, we got one last one. This is at Out the Box Sports. The MLB needs a DH in both leagues and needs to go to a different playoff format. This is a paragraph. Get ready. A 1-game play-in to go to the playoffs for a division loser with 100 wins is absurd. Sounds like sour grapes. Anyway, the playoffs should be 6 teams in both leagues with 1 and 2 seeds, and each league getting a first round bye. #MLB. There's a lot to digest there, obviously. So I'm going to start all the way at the beginning. Yes, hell yeah, bring the DH to both leagues. This is what always happens, and this makes me laugh so much. Right? A starting pitcher will hit like a double, and then some National League fan will say, "Hey, you see that? Who needs a DH with stuff like that?" Yeah, that's great. That pitcher has like a -20 WRC plus. His on-base percentage is like 200. But sure, the one moment he ever hits a double, now all of a sudden it's entertaining. Nobody wants to see bad hitters.
Apparently, some people do.
I don't want to see bad hitters. People don't want to see bad hitters. Get rid of it. It is such an archaic thing. Get rid of it and put the DH in.
Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so the fact that Ching-Ming Wong's career was basically destroyed rounding the bases in something that he should not have been doing in the first place is really damn annoying.
Yeah.
And I know we don't talk about wins and losses again, but 19 games, back-to-back seasons when you're showing potential with one of the best sinkers I've seen in a long time used to shatter bats.
Yeah, he was indeed showing potential. Now, we can also talk about his next portion there.
I could have gone for the next 5 more minutes, you jerk.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why I'm cutting you off. So the next part of his tweet says a 1-game play-in game to go to the playoffs for a division loser with 100 wins is absurd. That is the sourest grapes I've ever tasted in my entire life. Dude, I was frustrated too that the Yankees had to play in the play-in game, but Oh, well, now I'll actually say I kind of agree with them that I think that the Korean Baseball League does it best. And the way that their wild card game works is the lower team, they also have like a 2 wild card thing.
Okay.
The lower team has to win the first game. If the higher team wins the first game, then it's over. And the higher wild card moves on. If the lower team wins the first game, now it becomes a best of 3. So they have to win a second, or the higher team has to win 2 in a row.
Okay, first off, I love that.
It's a good idea, right?
I really, really like that.
It's a little complicated. I think it would take some time to really explain to everyone.
You just did in 30 seconds, and I loved it. So.
Yeah, but you know that there's going to be some people like, oh, wait, so you got to win 2 games or you got to win 1 game? I'm so confused. I don't like Korea. That's what they would say, not me. That would be not.
Korea's a lovely place.
It's
I don't understand why.
Especially North. Now, it says here the playoffs should be 6 teams in both leagues. Oh, so he's saying NFL style. He basically wants it to be like the NFL style. I'm okay with that. I guess I'd be open to it. I feel like you're letting in too many teams into the playoffs at that point.
Maybe. It doesn't bother me as much as some of the other stupid changes they're discussing. I think this is one they should talk about.
The only way they would be able to do that one is if they expand the league, add 2 teams, and then realign.
Isn't that division anyway?
4 divisions per conference.
Isn't that what...
Maybe, I don't know.
Man Poopy always talks about.
I know that he wants to. What did you call him?
Man Poopy.
Oh God, that is the worst nickname I have ever heard. Man Poopy. You could have called him Man Dead. You could have called him Brain Dead. You could have called him anything.
How dare you? Insult my insult.
Anyway. Yeah, I think, I don't know what they're planning on doing with the playoffs. I figured you would have to realign. You're not just going to have 2 divisions with extra teams, although who the hell knows, because the NL Central had 6 teams forever, so.
Well, if they made that decision, where would these 2 expansion teams be?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you would have
There's a lot of other questions like you're bringing up that would go into it.
Let's be honest. Sometimes weird things happen with realignment, like the Colts in the AFC South. And the Cowboys in the NFC West. Mm-hmm. These things don't really make much sense. Right. That's going to happen. But I think if they go to 32 teams, realign the divisions, get 4 divisions per conference, then you could do 4 division winners and 2 wild cards.
Right.
Get the buys for the first round, and possible. It's possible, but it would take some more. Yeah. Those are the unpopular opinions, man.
Cool. I liked it. Good segment. That was fun.
It was good. All right. So you had actually put something on Twitter too.
Yes, I did a Twitter poll question this morning, the worst contract you have ever seen, and the choices were Chris Davis, Jacoby Ellsbury, Kei Agawa, and anyone else. And basically Bobby Bonilla came up as the number 4 opinion every single time.
Number 4?
Yeah, like it was pretty high up there. Of these 4, I heard his name the most.
Okay. All right, so what do you got?
I disagree. It's Chris Davis. I think it's easily Chris Davis for a bunch of reasons. 1, he sent that organization back quite a bit. 2, he made it so that they couldn't even save face and pretend like there was an opportunity to get Machado. Not that they were going to have one, not that a lot of their fans thought they were going to have one, but it would have looked better going into that situation if they didn't have a ridiculous contract so they could at least say, you know what, we're trying. They weren't.
Right. So I want to give this question a little bit of context because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason you even introduced this poll question was because of all the hijinks that occurred with Chris Davis in yesterday's game.
That is correct.
Okay, so for those of you who might not have seen it, yesterday, and by yesterday I mean Wednesday, August 7th, in a game against the Yankees, he was very aloof the entire game. He was very, someone would flip him the ball. He would kind of catch it Gary Sheffield style. Yep. And, he just didn't have the best body language. He's supposed to be the veteran.
He looked like Red Blunder,
right?
Dude. He looked like Clint Frazier.
Yeah.
And
he's supposed to be the veteran of the team. He's supposed to set the example, like, guys, everything's okay. Yeah, we're losing a lot, but let's try to make the best of it. No, he wasn't having any of that. And for a guy that's getting paid $700 bazillion a year, you better be able to do that.
Yeah, which is why
you really don't have that much to complain about.
Exactly, and they took him out of yesterday's game, and he blew up in the dugout in front of the manager, and they took him out because of it.
So you would think that having the ultimate worst season of all time last year would be rock bottom, but here we are. Yeah. He starts the season off going 0 for 7,000, And now
it might have been longer, actually. I think it might have been a little longer.
Yeah. Here he is getting into an altercation with his manager that if other players weren't present, probably would have gotten physical.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I mean, he looks furious every time we see him.
Yeah.
So,
I would say I agree with you on the whole Bobby Bonilla aspect. It's fun to make fun of them for it. Deferred money is so common. I'm pretty sure it was this year that Bruce Sutter finally got his last deferred money amount.
Right.
And this dude retired in, I think, 1990.
Right. And aren't they making interest on it anyway?
They're making interest on it. And even with that,
it's a low amount.
$1.2 million a year. Come on. The whole deferred money thing is more common than people think. It's just that the Mets one got popular when they were the Mets, back when Luis Castillo was dropping baseballs.
Yep.
So that's really when such a thing got. Don't worry, Mets fans. We got some nice things to say to you later.
This is actually going to be a very heavy Mets show towards the end. So we hope you guys stay tuned, Mets fans. We have plenty of positive things to talk about.
So, Max Scherzer is going to be making deferred money for like 5 years after his deal is over. Right. And,
the reason it's not Jacoby for me is because it's just a contract and we're not really dealing with him or seeing him.
It's a bad contract.
It was
done for short. But I mean, he started his first year with the Yankees. Yeah. He had like 4 WAR. He provided some value.
We've seen some success in the playoffs as well.
Yeah, even the years he's been a dud, he's still making like 2 WAR, which is not ideal for a guy making his money, but it's not like he's a replacement level player. Yeah.
I think Keiga was frustrating, but
that wasn't a lot of money.
It wasn't a lot of money.
That was like $65 million.
Yeah, and it was only over 4 years. So he was gone before you even knew about him. Most of you out there, so doesn't bother me.
I have a few. I don't know if you were...
No, do your thing. Those were the names I saw.
There are 2 that immediately come to mind, and maybe like another 2 more after that, that not so much. I'll do the not so much ones. Josh Hamilton, when the Angels gave him that 5-year deal. The reason I say that that's not so terrible is because it was only 5 years. You can really cripple a team with anything longer than that, and 5 years sucks. But, it's not something that will destroy you long term.
Yeah.
But it was a stupid decision.
As a GM, I would have a hard time going over 5 or 6, to be honest. I would get really uncomfortable, especially
with
with
a solid player.
Depends on the player. If we're talking Trout, then I can give that 10-year no problem.
Right.
But if we're talking someone like Manny Machado or Harper, I wouldn't even consider it.
But even then, like 10 years is scary because you never know. Their head might fall off.
Exactly.
It's like 6 years.
But I personally would not have given Harper more than a 7 or 8 year deal.
Okay.
Tops.
Yeah. No, I get it. He is kind of a streaky guy who has just shown his ability in the past, but hasn't come close to matching it. Now, so that's one of them. Another one is Prince Fielder.
Okay.
Because, it was bad. It was a bad decision. Yep. He should not have gotten a contract that long. Luckily for whatever the last team was that had him, the Rangers? No, the Tigers. The Tigers were the team he retired with, right? Yeah, he had to retire because of his injuries. Yeah. Well, at least they're getting insurance to recoup a lot of that contract. Right. So, whatever. That's not so bad because of that reason.
Yep. Now,
here are the 2 really, really bad ones. I'm actually going to go ahead and say I agree with you that Chris Davis is probably the worst. Because the guy is playing like he belongs in single A. I have legitimately seen Rule 5 players get plucked and played better than this.
Yeah.
So I would say he's the worst. I would say 2 that are really bad. One of them, Albert Pujols. He's my favorite non-Yankee player of all time.
Yeah.
But it just hurts to watch him play. The guy can't run. The guy takes like 6 seconds to get
He's
to
having
first
a
base.
pretty decent season.
No, he's not.
No, he's not? I thought he was hitting home runs and doing stuff.
No, he's currently at like -1 WAR.
Okay, because in fantasy, he did pretty solid a couple weeks
ago. Sure, I'm sure his traditional stats are okay. But the guy cannot run. So sure, maybe his batting average isn't horrible.
I don't care about the Angels.
But every time he puts his bat on the ball, even if he rips it to the wall, he's getting a single. The only way he's getting extra base hits is if he hits it over the wall, which even that has slowed down.
Right.
So it's really bad for him, and they still have him for a few years.
Yeah.
I would say the only one that comes really, really close to matching Chris Davis is Miguel Cabrera. Because, boy, not only has it been bad, It has been predictably bad.
Yeah.
You knew going in, you're signing him to an 8-year extension when he still has 2 years left on his contract, and he's already in his 30s, and he's already fat. He didn't acquire the fat. He just was fat already.
Yeah, and didn't he have this depression issue, too, at the beginning of his career? I know he had...
I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Okay, but...
Dude, how many times did you not learn anything from Ryan Howard? Big-bodied first baseman.
I remember
They don't go well.
one spring training, he came back like really big, and they were talking about how he was like this over the winter and depressed and all this nonsense. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I read in a couple.
I don't remember.
Anyway, that's definitely a really bad one.
Yeah, and there's some smaller ones like the Sandoval deal.
Yeah, Sandoval's
but again, that was short. The Red Sox were able to eat it.
Back to Miguel real quick. Why would a team give that 8-year extension with 2 years left? What was the point of that? Why did they think they needed to do that?
It's almost like a team giving a starting pitcher an extension when they had 2 years of control left still. Kind of like with one Mr. DeGrom. I'm not so sure about that decision either. That one might be okay, but I mean, he's got a lot of mileage on his arm. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why the Tigers did that. Their owner. That was before Ilitch died. And Ilitch, his number one goal was get a damn championship. No. I got to get a damn championship. That's what has to happen.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons he fired Dombrowski, was because Dombrowski wanted to rebuild.
Did he really?
Dombrowski wanted to rebuild.
That is very interesting, because that's not the Dombrowski way.
It's not. A lot of what Dombrowski kind of built up for himself and reputation kind of came from the top down. The Tigers were like, look, you're going to go out there and you're going to fetch us a major league ready team.
Wow.
And that's because of Ilitch. Now you see the Tigers actually trying to. So really quickly, since we're on the topic of the Tigers, until like 2 days ago, their position players, total, every position player that played for them all season long, add up their WAR, negative. They literally were putting a sub-replacement level team out there.
Jesus.
This team has hit less home runs in Comerica Park than the Yankees have hit in Oriole Park all year long. The Yankees have hit 50 home runs or something in Camden Yards. 51. And the Tigers at home hit less so far this year. I just wanted to bring that one up. What other contracts? You got any others out there, or...
No, that's not it.
Well, I guess, bringing up Bobby Bonilla can bring us to, we talked about the negative of the Mets, so we might as well.
Yeah, let's jump
right. We might as well be nice, right? The Mets have become the 98 Yankees. The Mets have become the 98 Yankees. They have won 6 straight. They have won 13 of their last 14.
No, and they're doing so looking really good doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's why you say a statement like that, and I'm not sitting here laughing at you.
Yeah, they traded away Jason Vargas. They acquired Marcus Stroman, and we were all sitting here going, "What are you doing, Mets?" They held on to Syndergaard. They just said, "You know what? We're going to buckle down. We're going to go for it." And what did everyone do when they made that decision?
We laughed at them, and we did it so on this show.
We laughed at them. We did it on this show. Dude, they are 59 and 56. They are above 500.
And as we said, even when we were making fun of them, is that the National League is so weak that, they realistically have a shot.
Yeah.
Not only do they have a shot to elevate rather high. And rather quick.
They have a stronger playoff percentage than the Boston Red Sox do, despite the fact that the Mets are in 4th place and a half game behind the Phillies for 3rd.
Yeah. I love the fact that they got rid of Vargas. I honestly don't like him. I just don't like him.
Yeah, he's ugly.
Thank you. His face annoys me. I don't like his stupid hair and the way it just didn't work in the Mets uniform.
The New York Mets are half a game back of a wild card spot. They have they are tied with the Cardinals for that half game. Right now, there is a 2-team tie for the second wild card spot between the Phillies and the Brewers. The Brewers actually had a really, really bad series against the Cubs recently, so they're kind of reeling a little bit.
Yeah.
So Washington only has a 2-game lead ahead of them. So this is a scrum, man. That within let's say 3.5. Let's say within a 3.5 game window, we have wild card 1 Washington. 2 games behind them, we have the Phillies and the Brewers. That's for the second spot. So those 2 teams are tied to be in the playoffs. Okay. Then a half game behind them are the Cardinals and the Mets. Okay. And 1.5 games out of the wild card, we have the Diamondbacks.
And, I think you can say the Mets are better than the Cardinals. I think the
Mets are better than the Cardinals,
pitching
at least
staff
right now.
So much better than I trust the Cardinals pitching staff.
And the Cardinals are a weird team because they obviously have some really good players. They have Goldschmidt. They have some solid guys. They also have some really, really bad guys. They have Ozuna is pretty trash now. They have Fowler's pretty trash now.
I mean, I didn't like Ozuna when they got him. I just thought it didn't make sense, and I thought he wasn't there.
Ozuna always seemed like a flash in the pan,
right? He just one-dimensional home run hitter, and I don't think he fits there. For him. I really liked Tony Pham. I liked him better.
I liked him. Yeah. Tony Pham's pretty good.
He's been for Tampa Bay, I guess. I mean,
my favorite thing about Tony Pham is he talks smack about the Rays fans all the time.
Does he really?
Oh yeah, he's like,
I've missed this.
This was last season. He was like, look, it's really, really hard to even get excited to come out here to play because nobody comes. Yeah, like he was criticizing the fan base.
He's not wrong.
He's not. Yeah.
I mean, that's the one team they're thinking about relocating, possibly.
They need to.
Who knows?
They should. They need to move those guys. I
remember, right? Didn't they talk about doing half in Montreal, half in Tampa Bay? That's weird.
That's not actually going to happen. There's no way that's actually going to happen. 2 cities would be out of their minds.
Yeah.
First of all, that would require that they said confirmed. If that happens, they're going to get a new stadium in each city. Why would a city government have taxpayers pay for a new stadium, which is going to happen? Nobody ever just pays for their own stadium anymore. It's always taxpayers foot the bill for at least a percentage of it. So why would these cities have these taxpayers pay all this money for a new stadium that's only going to get used for 3 months?
Yeah, exactly. Half the time of a normal stadium.
Right. So that's ridiculous.
And also I think it might cause scheduling conflict, or at least make it a little more complex than it is now. Now you're dealing with more cities.
Yeah. I just want to. Let's go back to what we were talking about. The New York Mets. Who knows, man? Who knows? I don't. This might be sustainable for them. I don't know.
They have so much talent. We always bring that up, that the talent, the potential is there. Maybe we're starting to see it as the season winds down. The second half, you tend to see teams, randomly get really good sometimes. And I think perhaps the Mets are taking that energy right now.
Yeah. I mean, look at some of these numbers, man. Jeff McNeil currently sitting at 3.8 WAR. He could wind up as high as 5.
Yeah, we've talked about it. He is what you call a all-around baseball player. Yeah. He's just a good player that does everything slightly better than average.
Alonso's currently ice cold. I mean, the guy's still at 37.
Yeah, I was going to say, I haven't heard about him for a while.
Although I will say that he is pretty entertaining on Twitter. So I'm sure that adds 0.5 WAR.
You know who I don't like on Twitter, even though everyone says he's entertaining?
Who's that?
Phil Hughes.
Phil Hughes is funny on Twitter.
He annoys me.
Every single day, posts the same tweet. You up?
I know, and it annoys me every single day. It triggers me.
I think it's hilarious. Even a guy like Conforto, man. Conforto could end up with 4 WAR. That seems like the guy that on Mets Twitter, he's like their Gary Sanchez.
Yeah, and if we're talking about WAR, I'm going to bring up Chris Davis again because he has a -1 WAR for the season.
He does have a -1 WAR for the season.
Yeah,
you're right about that.
I know numbers too.
We'll see. We'll see where it goes. Yeah. I'm rooting for them. I always root for them as much as I love making fun of them. When they made the World Series back in 2015, I wanted them to win. It's a New York team.
I did it as well. I mean, who really cares about Kansas City?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah.
Aren't there 2 Kansas cities? Half the country doesn't even know which Kansas City it is. There's 2 cities, right? Kansas City. Hello. No.
Are you dumb?
Yeah. When it comes to geography.
Are there 2 Kansas cities? I mean, maybe in Kansas there's a place called Kansas City.
There might be. It's confusing.
Okay. I think we should move on. I got actually something kind of fun here. So we started this episode with some fan interaction. But this fan interaction that we started the episode with was, people wanted to interact. Well, now we're going to have some fans interact, and they don't want to.
Bad takes.
I kind of want to...
Kind of like the Kansas City take?
That's not a take. That's just stupid. I think we're going to do this every single week.
I think we should do both every single week. I like the popular.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do unpopular opinions, but I am going to call out on Twitter to have them answer something. So this first time I had them answer.
That's fine. I mean, maybe we don't do it as long.
I do want to start off every episode with.
Yeah.
In fact, when I go home, I'm probably going to tweet something. By the way, you can find me on the Twitter at CJ in Pinstripes. And what about you? He doesn't know.
Evan D. Wetzel 4.
I'm going to check and see if that's right.
It's right.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't really care. I have 6,000. They're already following me.
That's great and all, but you can get more.
Yeah.
It is Evan D. Wetzel 4. Good job.
I got it.
I'm proud of you. Okay. Yeah. Follow us on the Twitter if you don't do so already.
We interact very heavily on the Twitter, so
it's likely that you found our podcast from Twitter, so you probably already follow us. But in the event that you're not, and you know what? Maybe you can post some really, really, really bad takes, and I can find them and retweet them. So I've retweeted several.
You're not just going to find them. You're looking for them. You're going to find them, and you're going to embarrass people on the show.
I got to be honest with you. I actually don't really seek them out that much. I just stumble across them because, we're from the New York area, and it's kind of like New York sports radio callers. There's going to be a lot of dumb stuff said. So I've got 3 medals to give out. I've got 3 medals to give out. Actually, I'm going to call them the LDS, I'm going to call them the LCS, and I'm going to call them our World Series winner. Okay? Ready for this? So here's our LDS. All right? This is at Giants 2019. Funny, all other teams cut players, but Yankees seem put them in hiding. Shall we offer context?
You can't. Giants is my friend, so.
No, come on. You got to be able to call your friends out when they say dumb stuff. I do it to you all the time.
You did it 5 minutes ago.
So what is this in context to? What is this in reference to? Any idea? Because I know. I saw the whole thread.
Jacoby, I believe.
Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah.
Jacoby Ellsbury. Because, Jacoby Ellsbury is just being stashed on the disabled list so that the Yankees can recoup insurance money. And for some reason, Jacoby Ellsbury is staying quiet.
Does this back window open? Because I'm going to jump out.
Why would he do that?
He obviously...
Why would this be a thing? Why would this be a thing?
I could never picture a player not wanting to play if he's physically able to do so.
These are professional athletes that have been playing sports since they have been 2, 3, 4... Playing Little League, playing high school, playing in college sometimes, most of the time.
We've seen...
Minor leagues. Jacoby Ellsbury is what, 35, 36?
Something like that, yeah. I believe that's
He's been playing baseball for at least 30 years, if I had to bet. You're going to tell me this guy who's been playing baseball for 30 years, regardless of how much money he's making, just decided, I'm making a lot of money. I won't tell. I don't think so.
I don't think so either, mostly because, like you said, we've seen him work hard before. It's not like it just stopped because he had a bunch of injuries. He had a bunch of injuries. It sucks. He's still working hard to get back through them, and we've seen him have success when he is healthy. So it's frustrating. I understand why people are upset with Jacoby, but...
Bottom line is this. You don't know what their insurance policy is.
We have no idea.
You don't know how much percentage they're getting back or if they're getting... Or
I don't even know what my car insurance and policy is.
That's
and
a problem.
I signed that thing.
You really need to look that up.
I got to call Tom Broderick up.
Who?
Tom Broderick.
Who the hell is that?
He's my insurance agent. You do a good job. Thank you. That's why I don't have to call him.
Please tell him what his policy is because this guy's going to hit someone and, that's going to be it. First of all, there's that. Secondly...
I'm not a good driver.
I've never seen it, but I believe it. And also, not only that, but dude, he's hurt. Like, Why? Why do you have to overcomplicate this? What's more likely? Can we think about what's more likely? Your little conspiracy theory, or the fact that maybe Jacoby Ellsbury's actually been hurt for a year plus? I would say it's more likely that he's just been hurt. This stuff.
I mean, what wasn't one of the injuries a hip?
Yeah, it was a hip. There was an oblique. There was his wiener. I don't know. He's hurt every single
But my point is, hip sucks. My brother had hip surgery.
And so do obliques. Obliques are terrible,
yeah,
too.
they suck. My brother was out for like a year of doing any physical stuff, and he's not an athlete, but he does rock climbing, skiing, and is very, very healthy for whatever. And he was out for a year after a hip surgery. So, you know?
Yeah. All right. That was our LDS. Here's our LCS winner. This is at GQ Danny. Sabermetrics is for GMs looking to not pay players their value, so they use weird stats to show how one player is better than the other. It's a gimmick. Okay. So, just throwing it out there that if 27 or 28 teams out of 30 are all doing it, it's not a gimmick. That's not how that works. So if you're gonna tell me that you stumbled across Fangraphs.com and you went, oh my God, they're trying to undermine the salary of baseball players. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You're just bad at math. That's what that is. Let's be serious. If you really think that about sabermetrics, here's what that means. It means you were scrolling around, you saw a tweet about someone who mentioned someone's XFIP as a pitcher, and you went, numbers. That's what happened. That's what that was.
Pretty much. People don't like reading too much information.
Yeah.
They get their little.
I'm shouting out Don LaGreca about this because he's one of those people. Don, I know you're listening. Listen to me. I know how you work. He said so himself. He said he hates math. That's he was talking about
does.
Himself.
You know, it's been about 81 days since a Don rant.
That's good. It's been 0 days since I had one.
Yeah.
I had one just a second ago.
Yeah.
Let's see our World Series winner, man.
Do it.
Here we go. I apologize for my language, but I'm going to read the tweet as is. Stanton is a worthless piece of shit. If you think otherwise, you are a moron. Has no value healthy, no value hurt. Just costs us too much money. Should have signed an elite pitcher. Who? Who should they have signed?
How does that signing context even make any sense regarding Stanton? We got him because of his no trade clause and because of the circumstances surrounding him. We weren't going after signing a pitcher.
Yeah.
Who was there?
Also, is it your money? Are you paying Giancarlo Stanton? I'm sorry, I forgot to read your name, at Yankee Nerd Stats. Mr. Nerd Stats, are you paying Giancarlo Stanton? And if so, can you just pay us instead? I think the Yankees can afford to pay him. Stanton's not a worthless piece of shit. He had like 4.5 WAR last year. And yeah, that's down from what he did, but hello, the guy hit 5 trillion home runs the year before. Of course he was going to come down.
And I think that's the problem, too, is that the fan expectations were unrealistic from the start.
It's like when the Yankees got A-Rod.
Right.
And they thought that this was going to be...
What they wanted so bad is for Judge and Stanton to both rock 50 like it was easy.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
They wanted the Bash Brothers.
It doesn't happen.
That's what they wanted.
Okay? The fact that we saw it that one year they hit... 110 combined in 2017?
Right. Yeah.
That's goddamn impressive.
Dude, Stanton's a DH now. I mean, the guy can't play the field.
Yeah.
He's been doing it for too long. First of all, Yankee Stadium is tricky. Secondly, he's too big. I mean, he's been doing all this running. As a big guy, your body's going to break down. He has to stay at the DH role. And as a DH, you're kind of hindered by positional adjustment. So as a DH, you really, really need to do well versus, if you were a catcher.
And I think the new routine with it bothers him slightly. I think he wants to be an everyday outfielder or whatever. I think he wants to prove that, especially when you're a National League MVP and you come over here to the Yankees. I think he wants to prove that he is the guy when he doesn't have to be. That's the point.
And dude,
he
he's
doesn't
hurt.
have to be.
He's hurt.
Yeah,
I've seen so many people just calling him a pussy. I'm sorry. Hello. He's hurt. He's hurt. He is hurt.
Big body comes bigger injuries.
Yeah,
you
man.
just got to understand that.
What do you think he's faking it? This goes back to the first thing. You think he's faking it? He just I don't feel like playing.
Let's talk about Mike Trouchman for a second, though.
Yeah, or we can talk about Mike Talkman.
Okay, screw you.
I don't know who Mike Trouchman is.
I'm not pronouncing names anymore, okay? You can do it. So I'm just going to point at you,
dude,
and you can do the
his name
last
doesn't
thing.
have an R in it. How did you get Trouchman?
I didn't say an R in it. I said Trouchman.
You're hearing the R, right? Trouchman.
Bro, I have a list. There's an R in there. I'm not putting it there. Screw you.
I think we're running out of time. I don't think we can actually talk about.
Okay, well, he's great, and screw you.
We got 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes. Talk about
Joe,
Trouchman.
did you check the window yet so I can go jump out at you? The whole damn episode.
All right. Tell me about Trouchman. Come on, let's go.
No, I don't remember now because you pissed me off. It's gone.
Right, perfect. It all worked according to plan.
No, it didn't.
I think we're done.
This is 27 Down, the perfect podcast for the perfect game. Thanks, everybody. Take care.